Welcome back to Lee TV. I am Lee Harding. Jody Wilson-Raybould rocked Ottawa and testified about a series of 11 interactions between her and members of the Liberal government where they were pressuring her to interfere in the prosecution of SNC-Lavalin. I wanted to look at the coverage that the mainstream news gave this issue and show you some interesting things about maybe some of the ways that we're being spun on this. As a heads up, this Sunday I'm slated to be interviewed on the CCN Cross Canada News, so I encourage you to go to their channel, like and subscribe. Also like and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can see if I will actually be graced with monetization by the people at YouTube. 348. Can we get to 1,000? I sure hope so. I want to start with CTV's coverage, and they're interviewing an international lawyer here. Is this illegal or not? When he is saying in his opinion it is, the camera is never on him. So no one can ever use the clip with this lawyer with his face saying that he thinks it's illegal. The camera, it stays on the host Molly Thomas so inordinately long that she actually looks at the camera like, why are you still on me?
So Chris, do you agree with Jody Wilson-Raybould? She's saying it's inappropriate,
right.
It's not illegal.
I think we're in a bit of a gray area.
Okay.
So, she's the former Attorney General, and she's the one that was subjected to the pressure, and clearly she believed it was inappropriate. Obstruction of justice under the criminal code, it's worded in a way that this sort of situation, I believe, could fit an obstruction of justice. If you pervert the course of justice, if you're attempting to subvert a prosecution for political purposes, it certainly, in my opinion, could rise to the level of a criminal offense under the criminal code. That said, I think more to the point today and more to the opposition leader and Mr. Singh's call for a public inquiry, putting aside the potential criminality of the conduct, what we have here is a clear breach of constitutional norms.
You can say in the comments whether you thought that was a little bit unusual. Hey, it's a control room, anything can happen, but let's just pay attention to things like that. Getting to CBC's coverage, I had to laugh. This is another thing. I mean, it can happen. I've been a cameraman. I didn't get to do camera with CBC. I did get to do it with CTV and Global. All kinds of things can happen. But I found this really funny. Trudeau responds to Wilson-Raybould's testimony. So I click on it. Let's watch it. Let's see what his response is. Okay, so nothing, not even crickets. And this goes on and on and on and on. And now we get him doing a white balance. There you go. Oh, you got it for the right levels now. And someone out of focus, gets on it. And there is absolutely nothing but a floor with a checkerboard pattern and do. That's it. There's nothing. Read the comments underneath here for some. Are you serious? Cameraman missed the whole thing. Someone doesn't care. He just wants to talk about that. Oh, can we cut them some slack? So, same as usual, nothing. What is this? Nice bit. Oh, hey, I think I know her. I encourage you to actually watch the testimony for yourself. Things like how Harper put in a law and they didn't like the law, and she said, well, that's the law we have. There's a Quebec election coming. She kept getting told that. Prime Minister said, I am the MP for Papineau. Her staffer might be a millennial because in the text she says like a lot. But I can give you some response from Justin Trudeau, though.
No! God, please, no! 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 God! No! God, please, no! No!
Let's go to the At Issue panel. I have met all of these people in person except for Althea. They used to call him Handsome Man Thing. Some of the ladies did. Ian Hannah Singh, he gave a great speech. He was a Triple Crown winner at the debate in university back in the day. And Andrew Coyne's usually quite bright and on the right side of issues with some very good commentary. Chantal Lebert, I remember Ralph Goodale walking up to her. Somehow he came from the balcony and she did a speech at the University of Regina, and he was the first one to congratulate her when she came to the edge of the stage. Great speech. And she said, "Ralph, could you do something about these Liberal conventions? I was so bored at the last one, I wanted to poke my own eye out with the needle." So she was not being spun. Just ask yourself, do you think that Althea Raj might one day be working for the Liberals, running for the Liberals? Just take a look at the way that she treats this whole thing.
How she performed, but maybe that word is too trite. What her testimony was like today.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. The whole issue is about credibility. Now, who has more credibility, the Prime Minister or Jody Wilson-Raybould? And this speaks to, a lot of people voted for Justin Trudeau because they thought that he was going to do politics differently. And the story that Jody Wilson-Raybould told today, the pains she took to illustrate it, suggests that Justin Trudeau's government is just like any other government, that has had the pleasure to serve Canadians, in the sense that they make decisions for partisan reasons, and that's what she suggested was very improper. Well, I think it's possible that both sides are correct.
Althea Raj there just used a Liberal talking point, one that we see used in a few different contexts, which I showed in an earlier video.
People look at these issues in different ways.
The same interactions can be felt very differently by different people going through them, and we have to respect that.
If there was undue pressure, then that's another.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, well, let's see what Althea says again.
Speak to that kind of core issue for a moment.
Well, I think it's possible that both sides are correct. I mean, they both think that what they've and how they acted was appropriate. She did not provide any indication about why she felt a DPA was inappropriate or who she consulted to come up to that conclusion, but she obviously felt very strongly that she had communicated to the government that she did not want to do this. She talked about being hounded by the government for months, even veiled threats from the clerk of the Privy Council. The government, from its side, and in Jody Wilson-Raybould's telling of the story, did not obviously think that her decision was final and was trying to find ways to allow her, or let her come to their side to intervene, because at the end of the day, she's the one who is responsible publicly for intervening in this case. She didn't want to, so they were trying to find a way to give her cover. Oh, you could get a legal opinion. Oh, we're going to get some stakeholders to write friendly op-eds saying that what you're doing is correct. It's possible that both telling of the stories are accurate. It's just where is the line drawn? I'm not a lawyer. I don't think this is illegal, what the government did, but is it appropriate? It doesn't seem so.
If there was one conversation with one official about the problems with jobs, then we'd have maybe a gray area. When you've got so many people for so long in defiance of her repeated objections that my decision is final, explicitly invoking, as she tells it, partisan considerations, we're way, way over the line.